So the point is, what the scientists who have been talking about your DNA may have been forgetting here is the difference between the short wave, which is this helix, versus this wave on the wave of the wave on the wave. So you get this braiding going on where you're going down the throat, where when finally you see this actual X in your DNA, what's actually happened is there's been a braid on the braid of the braid of the braid. And you have this very long wave now superposed in your DNA. Let's tell that story for a second, and we're going to cut to a little movie here. In order to understand our movie, we need to understand what it feels like to look down DNA as a slinky from the top. And this is the picture from New Scientist magazine, where it shows that the way genetic material looks like from the top is a 10-sided figure. Notice it looks like you have a little kind of a black hole or a linear accelerator or maybe a squirt gun down the center. So now we can play our little movie. Here's another view of the top down looking into that ratcheted dodecahedra. And as that dodecahedron ratchets down, we see that the double helix in your genetic material is a wavelength here, which is, this wavelength here is in the ultraviolet spectra, okay? So it's literally a high quality ultraviolet or blue light. Later we're going to call it blue fire. But you see that we've drawn in the double helix here as a blue and purple helix, okay? And so that helix is a short wave in your DNA. But what the genetic engineers may have forgotten is they're all excited that they now understand the letters, but they don't understand how the words and the syntax requires a phrase within a sentence, within a paragraph, within a book. And it's that context richness or context embedding which is the braid on your DNA. And you see how this is a braid of the short wave on the long wave? So the information that's in your DNA actually has these waves here, which are very long waves, which is a wave on a wave on a wave on a wave waving. That's called super looping. And that's actually a picture of how harmonics nest in, say, things like your heart, where, for example, in your heartbeat, you have your heart beat as a wave, and then you have your heart rate as a wave, and then you have your breath as a longer wave yet. So you have a wave on a wave waving. And that's the process of embedding, and the embedding or nesting of how short waves can nest inside of long waves, where the interference between them is all constructive, is based on something called perfect nesting or perfect branching, which turns out to be exactly in Mother Nature what she calls phyllotaxis. And that's how leaves branch in these trees around us. In the lovely trees, the way the branch happens is that this branch with relationship to this branch chooses the place to unfurl so that the geometry of the leaf structure actually solves the problem of perfect sharing. So you got this one leaf that says, oh, I need to share the light so that there's maximum exposure, minimum superposition. And what Mother Nature discovered is in order to do this, the way the leaves branch is they do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Okay? It's called the Fibonacci progression. And that progression is such that if you take any two numbers in the sequence and add them, you get the next one. 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, etc. The point is that that Fibonacci progression, which is perfect branching, perfect nesting, actually leads to the ratio, the golden mean, which is called phi. Often it's symbolized by the Greek letter phi, which is a circle with a vertical line through it. And phi, the golden mean ratio, is the solution to perfect nesting or perfect branching. And we're going to see later that that harmonic ratio actually shows up in the heartbeat as the space between harmonics in the chord, the music of the heart, deciding what chord to play. And when the space between harmonics is a multiple of phi, the golden ratio, it appears people are generally having an emotion that's heart-centered or open or blissful. And so Mother Nature is solving the problem of perfect sharing by solving the problem of perfect branching, which turns out to be the solution to the problem of perfect nesting, which is the solution to perfect compression. So all of these things are related to the golden ratio, or the golden mean, or the sacred cut. You know, the sarcophagus in the Great Pyramid has that shape, that square, and you have that shape in the Parthenon in Athens, Greece. Okay, so sacred structures use this shape to embed magnetism. Well, it turns out that genetic material is all about that shape, and we'll see some pictures in a minute.